Hey, what's up, guys? The NBA 75th season is officially a wrap. This was a special season to me for many reasons. First off, being able to see the NBA 75th celebration at the All-Star game while seeing Steph Curry knock down 16 threes. It was insane, man. But that moment, I don't understand how else to explain it and just tell you guys how special that moment was to me. Like I said, seeing the highlights of the 50th, the top 50 players, the 50th celebration, it was that was something that I was like, damn, I don't think I ever get to see that. But when the 75th season celebration rolled around, it felt like, I'm not even a player, so I imagine what it felt for the players. But for me, it was just like an NBA's fans heaven, man. You get to see all these great players interact from different generations, man, and just come together and all celebrate them, because we don't celebrate these players enough. But with that being said, man, this was a crazy season. There's a lot of slander going on of the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, and then we have a lot of different narratives flying about the Golden State Warriors. And honestly, anyone that's close to me, they know that I'm not a big fan. I'm not a huge fan of the Golden State Warriors. Some might even say I'm a Golden State Warrior hater, man, but, I don't hate, I just appreciate. But I will say congratulations to the Warriors, man. Congratulations to Steph Curry. I have my disagreements with them and how the organization acts and is boastful, but at the end of the day, man, those guys on that team, they work their asses off, and they just come from very humble beginnings. And I'm not talking about just their lifestyle or money. I'm talking about how their past and their routes to get to the league, man. Steph Curry was, a 3-star. He went to Davidson. Dre Green, he was a second-round pick, and a lot of NBA scouts didn't think he would stick in the league. They didn't think he had a true position, man, but he came in and showed what he could do. So shout out to the Golden State Warriors. And are they a dynasty? Stay tuned to find out. Last but not least, cue my boy Reigns on the intro.
Hey, yo, foreigner, you crazy for this one.
Okay. Yeah, that thing I'm jab riding when I'm left hooking. Fiends say they love me cause they know I keep that sack moving. Sad to say, but this the life that I have grew in. I had to hustle, skipping class, man, I was true in. I can flip some packs and teach you how to do it. This the real deal. Better watch your back cause people will kill. Kill Bill, kill switch on the Glock. Yeah, this the real. And people spin around them blocks just like a Ferris wheel. But that's enough of that. Let me tell you about my life and where I grew up at. I grew up in the south of Topeka. Then I moved to the east in the streets, and I ain't fucking with neither. I ain't the type to go with kill or go and sit on that block. I'm the type to get some.
Warriors hold off the Celtics for their 4th title in the last 8 seasons. The 1-0.
Them damn Warriors done did it again. 4th championship in 8 years. As much as we try to push back against it and just fight back against the whole narrative-driven aspect of the league, I feel like it's something that we should start embracing and just accepting for what it is. The NBA has always been a narrative-driven league all the way back to 50s and 60s when Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and all those guys were playing. It just is what it is. That's what the media does. And I feel like another reason why we should start embracing it is because this is what makes the league so popular. This is what makes the league so driven. A lot of people, they don't just love the basketball aspect, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm just going to sit here and just, I want to go to the YMCA and watch random guys hoop. I will, because I love the game of basketball, but I do love the whole storylines and the narratives that surround the game. It makes the game that much more enjoyable. It's kind of like how we used to tap in and watch WWE wrestling back in the day. Because there's so many different characters and so many people to root for. There's villains. Like, this is the reason why the NBA is so big. We got to start being honest with ourselves and just start accepting it for what it is. We might not agree with all the narratives, but the biggest narrative that's surrounding this NBA Finals and its outcome is, are the Golden State Warriors a dynasty? My take on this, though, is that it's fairly simple, and I feel like this is something that a lot of the older NBA fans, a lot of older basketball players try to use against our current generation. Oh, they didn't win championships, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Well, I feel like 4 championships in 8 years, that definitely represents a dynasty. You don't just accidentally win 4 chips. That's not something that you just do for fun. You're doing something right in your organization if you win 4 championships in 8 years, especially with the same group, the same core of players. The Golden State Warriors, man, there's the motto: consistency. I have to be honest with you guys. I did not think this year's Golden State Warriors were that good. I didn't think their system would be able to overcome having so many young players and guys like Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter, and even just like a lot of different spare parts. I didn't think they'd be able to overcome it. I pushed back against the narrative that the Golden State Warriors had a system and had like a whole machine, but they proved me wrong, and they do. Definitely a dynasty. Steve Kerr deserves his damn respect. Hey, he even earned it from me as well. I used to be a Steve Kerr hater back in the day. I used to think Steve Kerr was just eating off of Mark Jackson's work, the team that he put together. And I was just like, nah, I don't really feel Steve Kerr. I think anybody can coach his team. You know, I was really a hater. But Steve Kerr has proved me wrong. And I just started to become a fan of Steve Kerr and his coaching job, the way he communicates with his players. He even had an issue with Draymond a few years back. And a lot of coaches, they would have let their own egos get involved. He could have been like, Draymond, I'm benching you. Draymond, I'm cutting your minutes, anything. He could have did anything like that, man, but he didn't. Steve Kerr is a great communicator, a great leader, a great coach. And the thing that I love most about him is that he's not stubborn. He doesn't have an ego. He'll do anything he needs to do that's going to put his team in position to succeed. Most coaches, no, I do it my way. I'm not changing for anybody. But Steve Kerr has always wanted to listen to the people on his bench, his assistant coaches, his players. And he's willing to let people work and rock, man. So I can definitely respect it. And I feel like it's time we start to mention Steve Kerr up there with the Greg Popoviches, any great coach that you can think of. We got to start mentioning his name. 4 chips as a coach, 5 as a player. Steve Kerr's that guy. My brother's one of the biggest Golden State fans out here. And before the NBA Finals, he told me, like, I'd rather play the Boston Celtics, bro, because they're more inexperienced, and I feel like they'll make more mistakes than the Miami Heat will. I disagree with him, but he was correct about that. The Boston Celtics, they look like a really young team. They look like they haven't been on the final stage before, which they haven't. Jason Tatum, he just made silly mistake after silly mistake after silly mistake. He couldn't finish at the rim for nothing. Jaylen Brown, he did what he could, but ultimately it wasn't enough. We seen the bench. They shrunk at the worst possible times, man. They just didn't affect the game like they did in that game 1 where they came off. We had Al Horford dropping 26. We had Peyton Pritchard, Derek White all contributing, man. They just fell off after that first game. I don't know what happened. But it just really was a bad series all in all for the Celtics. And the Golden State Warriors, man, they were the more experienced team, and they took this series. You know, so not much else to say about this one. Shout out to one of my good friends, Coop. We also do a podcast together. Go check it out at Bucket Discussions Podcast. Go ahead and watch one of our episodes. Coop really talked me off the ledge because I was really down on the Boston Celtics and how they played in this NBA Finals. I was upset. I was like, they'll never get back. Like, they played terrible. Jason Tatum's not a superstar. And I still believe that Jason Tatum's not a superstar, but them getting back, I feel like it's entirely possible. But I want to say the Boston Celtics, they have a lot to look forward to. They have a lot to be proud of this season. Halfway through the season, people didn't have them even in the Eastern Conference Finals. So the fact that they turned it around that quickly, Jason Tatum, he sent out a tweet and said the energy shifted, which it did. After that, man, a lot of players, they say stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, they talking. But no, he was for real. I don't know what happened, but Coach Udoka, he was able to get through to his guys. And a flip really switched on defense. They were locking up elite teams. We seen what they did to Kevin Durant, what they did to the Miami Heat, what they did to the Bucks. Like, the Boston Celtics have a lot to be proud of, and they have a lot to look forward to for a couple reasons. They have a great organization, a great front office, a.k.a. Brad Stevens. They have a great head coach, and they have great players. And when I say great players, I'm talking about the role players. They have great young role players like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, and also Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are only going to get better from this. The most frustrating thing about this time of year is the fans that just think you're automatically going to be back. The fans that think you're going to start this next season in the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. That's not how it works. See a lot of people, oh, the Celtics will be back. They have Jason Tatum. They have Jaylen Brown. I understand that. They had a great season. This could be the only chance that they had to make it to the NBA Finals. Now, do I think this will be the only time and their only trip in the NBA Finals? No, I don't. Do I think they can win one? Yes, I do. But I just hate that nonchalant attitude that some fans have. Like, oh, yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. This is a great example right here. This team we were told that this team would be back and they would win several titles. They had 3 MVPs. They had scoring champions. Everybody on the team, man. They just had a great team, great culture. Oh, they'll be back. And what happened? with that being said, this will be the end of the video. Like, share, subscribe if you're new, and also tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm out. Peace.
Like I'm Conan, count up with both hands. Switch the flow like it was broken. I'm on the road, man. Making plays just like DeRozan. I shoot my shot, and that shit wetter than the ocean. I brag a lot, but with the wind and come the boasting. I made a lot from them apartments that I sold, and he ain't make it up to college. So them streets where he enrolled in. I know I'm a scholar from the moments that I was exposed in.